My response to What Do You Meme's video, titled, "The Candace Situation Gets Much Worse," by Danzel Monk Sr. I would like to caution you to take more time to be accurate in what you say about others, or what you accuse them of. In your video, you make a number of errors, and accusations about Candace and what she did and said that I would like to try to point out. You said Candace's comments about Turning Point USA were, even seeming to suggest that Charlie's organization could have had something to do with it, referring to Charlie's assassination. Please provide us with the video footage that shows Candace suggesting that Turning Point USA may have been behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk. You say that she started making a lot of claims that a lot of people thought was not necessary, and urged her to at least wait until people had a chance to grieve. But I noticed you did not mention that there were also a lot of people who thought what she was saying was necessary. Why? Nor did you state that those of us, who had no problem with her outspoken comments, feel that waiting to make them after people had a chance to grieve, would be foolishly losing valuable, even crucial time, giving those involved time to cover their tracks. After all, this was a crime done in open public before the world. You made sure that you reported on those who accused her of hijacking grief for personal gain based only on rumor, but you did not include those of us who denounced that hubris view of Candace's efforts, as intentionally disrespectful and itself, manipulative. Why? If only discrediting Candace is your goal, then why not just state that? Why act as if you are trying to be fair and balanced? You said that given her confidence and determination, she should have had some really strong evidence. But then you cite as proof that she did not have strong evidence of a cover-up, her rejection of Bibi's misrepresentation of the letter that Charlie wrote to him. But her addressing Bibi's misrepresentation of the letter was not her effort to expose a cover-up. It was her effort to demonstrate how deceptive Bibi was being, to manipulate the public about Charlie Kirk. Why is that so difficult for you to understand? For a leader of a nation to so quickly go public about Charlie's love for his nation, was clearly unusual and suspicious, and to do so without being honest about the full content of the letter is also suspicious. That was what Candace was pointing out. Even you did not fairly represent what was in the letter. And in fact, just about everyone who is attacking Candace about the letter, does the same thing. They pretend it was just what Bibi said. But doing so is making them guilty of the very thing they are accusing Candace Owens of. When you gave your synopsis of the letter, you, like others, carefully left out key factors. And you agreed that Candace's accusation about the letter severely misrepresented what Bibi said was false. But that is a matter of opinion, is it not? Just how do we define severely? I think Candace was right. She never said what Bibi stated was not true, but that was not all Charlie said in the letter. She was talking about what Bibi's comments about the letter left out. Charlie said that he is being accused of anti-Semitism. Quote, "If I don't defend Israel strongly enough, I'm accused of being anti-Semitic," unquote. Charlie said that Americans want to know what they are getting from Israel for the billions they get from the USA. Quote, "Consumers of social media are aware of the billions in supplies we send to Israel, but they're less aware of what America gets in return." Unquote. Charlie asked, why should we trust your intelligence claims when it could not protect you from the October 7th attack? Quote, "Israel intelligence missed the boat on October 7th, but we're asked to trust Israeli intelligence 100% that Iran is on the cusp of obtaining nuclear weapons." Unquote. Charlie was concerned that Israel will drag the US into a war costing many American lives. Quote, "At the same time, I share the concern that America will get sucked into another endless war costing thousands of American lives." Unquote. In the letter, Charlie also listed 9 of the common unfavorable questions and comments that he always gets from college students, that need definitive responded to. He said, quote, "I'm constantly confronted with Israel is an apartheid state. Why does Israel conduct ethnic cleansing? Why is America subsidizing Israel's genocide against the Palestinian people? Is American aid helping to subsidize Israel's free healthcare? Israel and the Jews are running U.S. foreign policy. Israel and Jews are responsible for 9/11. Defending Israel is not in our U.S. national interest. Why is Israel trying to drag us into a war in the Middle East? Unquote. My question is, why have you and others skipped over these points about the letter when you make the claim that Candace was wrong about the letter? Another thing that I noticed about those who attack Candace, is that they are not interested in being careful about being accurate about what she says or is referring to. To be fair, Candace is also responsible for this, because she talks fast and often does not indicate when she is shifting to another matter, and often she mixes two thoughts together while talking. And her detractors, while gleefully capitalizing on her every misspeak, often do not even realize their own misunderstanding of what Candace has said. So there is plenty of blame to go around concerning this. In the video, she talked about the letter's content and the phone call, and it seems that she was saying that Charlie was complaining about free speech in the letter, when that was about the Hamptons meeting and pressure being put on him then. But her communication errors are not justification for others to falsely accuse her, or exaggerate what she said, indicated, or clear. Accusing anyone of seeming to suggest is not a Christian prerogative when you are making accusations about them. So why not just stick to the clear statements? You cite the Bill Ackman intervention incident that Candace talked about and said that threats were made, but you point out that others who were there denies that happened. But on what do you base you accepting their claims over Candace's? Are you aware of any possible reasons that those who were there for an intervention would be honest about any heated exchanges, given the fact that Charlie was assassinated? I am just not clear as to why you are so quick to take the words of others and not Candace's. Could it be her turn from Christianity to Catholicism and/or her anti-Israel convictions? If so, does either of those make it impossible for her to tell the truth about what she hears from primary sources? Why are you so willing to believe Ackman's version? Do you believe that Ackman would be honest about an argument or unfavorable comments? Is it possible that he only provided what could be only taken as friendly emails? Why are you so determined not to be balanced? You address her stated views and concerns about the young man arrested for the shooting of Charlie Kirk and you say that she provided no receipts? How do you define receipts? While I agree that her claim that he did not use the word vehicle for car, seems to have been refuted by a video, but with AI, now videos can't be so easily accepted, and she did show a video with him calling a car too. But her foolish claim that vehicle is not common when she herself often used it is a mark against her. But then you go back to insinuation, claiming that she insinuated that behind Kirk's assassination could have been Bill Ackman, Bibi, Jewish donors, a rabbi, investigators, the medical staff, the FBI, the prosecutors, and underground communist death cult. Now, to be fair, if you are going to condemn her for not providing receipts when she makes accusations, you must at least provide receipts when you make accusations about her. So please, provide the video clips, or the video link with the timestamps for us to see just what you call insinuated. I don't see why we should hold you to a different standard than you are holding Candace. You say that the most offensive insinuation is her insinuation that TPUSA was behind the assassination. Please explain to me how the two clips you played after you made that statement proves she was insinuating TPUSA was behind the assassination. Her saying, "and 2 days later he is assassinated," to you seems to imply that those things are somehow connected to his death 2 days later. How does that insinuate that TPUSA was somehow behind the assassination? As a Christian apologist, you should know better than to be so sloppy with your words. And as a Christian, you should know better than to allow your dislike or disagreement with someone to cause you to go out of your way to incriminate them. You then bring up her exposing the TPUSA audit letter and you say that it was an obvious implication, being that someone in TPUSA could have had Charlie killed to hide the money. But there has been no evidence, and the COO of TPUSA said they do yearly audits, and always have, and that Candace just made something up. I am curious as to why you have once again just accepted the COO's response with no receipts. and why you have not since added that Candace has responded to the TPUSA COO's claim, and pointed out that in the letter, was a matter that was in addition to the annual audit, that the Doge was a new effort. Did you read it? If so, why did you not catch that it was not a reference to their annual audit? And why would then TPUSA COO make that kind of statement if he was not trying to convince us that Candace was not to be paid attention to and there was nothing to the Doge memo, when we all know what Doge is? You attack her for saying she has receipts, but not presenting them, and you played clips of several of her detractors stating the same, but you did not address why. Why have you not addressed her asking those who are supposed to be for Charlie and those who work for Charlie to come clean and tell the truth, giving them a chance to do it themselves? Have you not noticed that they stay quiet and even denounce her claims until she drops a receipt? I am concerned that you are so focused on trashing her that you are not bothering to look into what she is saying other than to criticize her. Where is your Christian balance and fairness? Where is your honesty? Or is that only reserved for your friends? You say a good journalist provides evidence. Really? Then all of those who held evidence to protect those who were supplying it were bad journalists? Is it not true that some evidence if published would indicate the person or people who provided it? Why are you all holding this sister to a standard that you are not holding yourself or others to? Are you claiming that you have never made claims that you have not provided receipts for? And none of your fellow apologist and minister friends and social media friends have never failed to do so? Don't get me wrong, Candace certainly does have issues with how she communicates, and with some of her claims and views about Israel and Judeo-Christianity. But none of her faults justifies any professing Christians misrepresenting her or lying on her. Why can't those of you who are addressing her work, do so with biblical ethics? Is it that difficult to just deal with the clear facts and not speculate, insinuate, postulate and exaggerate? You have been in this game long enough to know better. Defending Israel and Christianity against undue and unjust lies, does not require us to pretend that they have no faults. And it certainly does not require us to lie on or misrepresent those who are against Israel or us Christians. For your example of Candace making false claims and then later denying them, you played the clip of her stating that Charlie was changing his perspectives, he was praying the rosary and going to Mass, and that when you start doing those things you typically stop referring to yourself as I did, as a Judeo-Christian. Nothing in those statements is a claim that Charlie was converting, but that in her opinion they were signs of him making steps towards doing so. What is so dishonest about that? Since then, it has been confirmed by several people that he was indeed fond of the rosary and going to Mass. For a Catholic who has talked to him about their faith and seen these acts by him, it is reasonable for them to see it as a move towards their faith. That does not constitute a lie or a claim that he was converting to Catholicism. To pretend that this is a black and white issue and she is just plain lying, is not just. If you are going to judge her by every word she says and how she says it, then do the same for your minister friends too. When was the last time you scrutinized their comments that deeply? If you are going to expose Candace, then expose her with clear and accurate receipts, and challenge her to an open dialogue to defend her lies. But don't do to her what you are claiming she is doing, and pretend that you are innocent. You said that when she has been refuted or disproven, she says the evidence is fake. Please give us an example of this. You conclude by stating that Bibi had to publicly deny that Israel has anything to do with Charlie's murder. He did not have to, he did because of the comments of many people about the activities of Israel, both true and false. TPUSA was not dragged into anything, they knew and understand the current climate and they are supposed to be on top of everything concerning Charlie's assassination, and you can't blame Candace for their silence. She should not have to demand their taking control of their public appearance. And waiting to grieve while people involved get rid of the evidence or control the narrative is not wise. As for Tyler Robinson's trial, there are so many inconsistencies and so much that has been proven untrue by others, that you can't blame Candace for the chaos. To think that she is intentionally or unintentionally trying to prevent a conviction of the killer is just foolish. The question is, why are you so sure that Tyler is the killer, and why are you so sure that she is wrong? If there is going to be a trial, would it not be best if the prosecution has unshakable evidence? Are you a lawyer or judge? If a juror gets on the case that can set the killer free by having been influenced, then the selectors did not do their job. And you know that if there is big money behind what happened to Charlie, they are going to do all they can with their money to make sure the real killer never gets convicted. Why are you acting like the legal system is so reliable without public deep scrutiny? Do you really want to blame Candace for a spoiled juror? And your effort to blame Candace for the possible loss of TPUSA funds and hurting Erica is suspicious. Do you really think that Erica has not been well taken care of by Charlie and that she is dependent on TPUSA for her livelihood? What does that say about Charlie? Why are you trying to manipulate us with such foolishness? Have you seen the reports of the massive support coming into TPUSA? They are doing just fine. And if they want to continue to do so, they need to continue Charlie's vision and not play games for donor money that demands control over their message. That is what Candace has been saying. I love most of your work that I have watched, but from time to time, you get things wrong and you don't always correct them. This is just another of those times. For the record, I don't agree with Candace's view and attitude about Israel or Judeo-Christianity, and she needs to be confronted when she lies or misrepresents the facts or truth, and when she says something that is just wrong, like Charlie is too intelligent to be a Judeo-Christian, or condemning anyone other than Palestinians who move into Gaza after it is rebuilt with being cursed and their children will be cursed. She called them the absolute vermin of our society. She recently said that Charlie actually visited her in her dreams and told her that he was betrayed. That should be addressed and refuted. Not that Charlie could not have been betrayed by someone in his organization, that is very possible, and anyone who denies that possibility is just foolish. But dead people are not messengers from God. These are things for us to confront her on, that is clear, and need no speculation and assumptions. Indeed, there are a number of things that we can nail Candace on, so there is no reason to fabricate, assume, and insinuate faults in her words and actions. She is certainly suffering from a spiritual sickness that is probably due to her having been exposed to false ideas about Christianity and Catholicism. And from the book sources and material that she has been reading, that contain both truths and lies, and her inability or willingness to distinguish between what is true from what is false. She certainly needs to be challenged publicly on her actual faults, but that applies to all of us, and not just Candace. I am not sure why so many seem to be ignoring this fact. You concluded your video with Bible verses, so I would like to add a few more. Exodus 23 verse 1. You shall not spread a false report. Do not join the wicked by being a malicious witness. Verse 7 CSB. Stay far away from a false accusation. CEV. Don't bring false charges against anyone. NIV. Leviticus 19 verse 16. Do not go about spreading slander among your people. Deuteronomy 5 verse 20. Neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor. Proverbs 6:17 and 19. Two things that God hates is, a lying tongue and a false witness that speaks lies. Proverbs 12 verse 17. CSB. Whoever speaks the truth declares what is right, but a false witness speaks deceit. Proverbs 14 verse 5. A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. Proverbs 19 verse 5. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaks lies shall not escape. What did Jesus say? Matthew 15 verse 19. Out of the heart proceed false witness. Romans 13 verse 9. Thou shalt not bear false witness. 1 Peter 2 verse 1. Rid yourselves of all slander. Ephesians 4 verse 31. Get rid of all slander, along with every form of malice. We born from above Christians are held to a much higher standard than non-Christians are. In Luke chapter 12 verse 48. Jesus said, But he that knew not, and did commit things worthy of stripes, shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. In Matthew 12 verse 36. Jesus said, But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. In Romans 14 verse 12. The Apostle Paul reminds us that every one of us shall give account of himself to God. And in 2 Corinthians 5 verse 10. He states, For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that every one may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. If we as Christians are going to publicly address the wrongs of others, then we had better strive to do so with dignity and accuracy. God demands no less from us.